Good morning, Ed.
Hey Graham, how are you?
Fantastic to be on this call with you. Look forward to our discussion. Did you get a chance to
Yeah,
watch
thanks
our
for
short
reaching out.
little video?
I did. Yeah,
Fantastic.
very interesting story.
Wonderful. That saves a bit of time and we can concentrate on you and your story. So, why don't you tell me your journey into real estate? Why real estate and what I can do to help you?
It's interesting how people get into real estate. There's so many different stories, isn't there?
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so my background is healthcare. I was a physical therapist for 11 years, and then I got into the other side of it, which was implant sales.
Okay.
So I've been in the spine implant business for 25 years.
All right.
About 6 years ago, I had a friend that was a neurosurgeon in St. Louis. That's where I'm from originally, St. Louis, Missouri. Um, and my friend was a resident, a neurosurgical resident, and he asked me to come and take care of his business in central Louisiana, be an implant distributor,
Okay.
which is something I always wanted to do. My
Mm.
kids were mostly grown, had two left in college, and um, they said, "We're never coming home, and go ahead and have your adventure." I'm like, "Oh, I did something right. They're never coming home."
That's good. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you don't want to,
um,
yeah, you want them to grow up. That's right.
that's right. That's right. So we moved to central Louisiana and hit the ground running and worked very hard. And I guess we did that for about 4 years. And uh, my excuse me, my partner, my friend, had one of those things happen that you just never plan on. He got in a fight with one of his partners, and literally a physical fight,
Oh, no.
and got fired or quit his job, and pretty much was blackballed. So usually neurosurgeons, they're such a revenue driver for hospitals that if you're available, people pick you up, and doesn't matter who you are, what's going on. You're just revenue drivers. Well, for whatever reason, he didn't get picked up,
Oh, wow.
and so that income, which was extraordinary, pretty much went away.
Oh, man.
So during that time frame, I had an employee and had a business going, and during that time frame, so I just assumed he's going to get picked up. So I waited a year and a half, and we kept in touch, and he just never got picked up. So I realized I'm too young. I'm only 57.
Right.
Only, I say to people of my age frame, that's an only.
Yeah, that's right. I'll
um,
catch you as only. I'm 63. So
63. Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
That's most of my friends.
Yeah.
um, so I had to either say I'm just going to live off my retirement, off of my money that I saved, or continue on. And at 57, you have way too many years ahead of you just to
Yeah. Yeah.
hang out. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So a good friend of mine is um, an insurance agent. Owns his own business and also owns 45 doors,
Oh,
single family, all single family. Um,
that's a lot of
and
work.
yeah, he was one of those special people that had a rich uncle
Okay.
though.
All right.
Everything was being supplied by 4% money.
Mm.
And, at the time, 7 years ago, houses were half the price they are now or less.
True.
And he was cash flowing nicely with most of these places.
Mm.
So I'm like, well, I've always wanted to do that. I've been a landlord before. I don't really care for being a landlord, but it makes sense. Real estate just makes total sense. It's just exponentially increasing in value over time, and if you can cash flow property and get 50 to 100 doors, and it seems like you can make a living.
Mm.
So I started watching Bigger Pockets from his suggestion, and delved into that. Did whatever free courses they had, and then found Pace Morby
Mm.
through them, and really started delving into his stuff. And of course, he's a great marketer.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
but
True.
but but he has success too, and makes it look like it's all from real estate, and most of it is. But anyway, I got looking into buying single family homes. I'm like, I'm just like you on your video, you have to have a lot of them to have an income.
Yes, yes.
So realized during his marketing that Gator was available. It's like, okay, well, this makes more sense. I've got dollars.
Mm,
I can just loan out dollars.
mm.
And immediately did the courses. I think it took us 5 weeks to go through everything. And we were just binging every day. It's a lot of information, as you know.
Yeah.
So did that, and of course joined Gator Elite. Right, I think I was the first class of Gator Elite
Oh, very
uh,
good.
a year ago.
Mm,
And of course, their main thing is take action. It's like, okay, I'm going to take action.
mm,
I've got the money. Let's do
mm.
it. And jumped into a fix and flipper that was doing 4 or 5 a month. She was working with a TC that was one of Pace's TCs, working with a connector that was very solid in the community,
Mm.
still is, I guess. And took $350,000 and put it into 3 different projects with her sister and her. Got paid back on the little bitty one and never got paid back on the other 2.
Oh man.
Had to
Mm.
take a house away, and we still have the house. We're still trying to get rid of it. It's probably a third of the value of what her ARB suggestion was.
Ooh.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I also think that she got caught up in something. I think she was probably legit.
Right.
Um, but I think she just started moving so fast and saw this free, easy money, more or less free, easy money from all these people in the Gator community. And I think she got over her skis, and, you have 1 or 2 bad things happen. It's like,
Right.
ooh, now I don't have the cash flow.
Right.
So I guess that happened. We took a house back. We have one, and then the other one, it's on the side of a mountain in California, and it's falling off the side of a mountain. And
Wow.
I don't think we'll ever get that back. So then I realized, hey, I still need to do something. I could get back into the healthcare industry
Mm.
and probably do okay with some corporate job. And I just not a fan of corporate America,
No, no,
um,
that's right.
corporate anything.
Yeah, that's right. We got
It
to think
seems like
about the future as well. We need a better lifestyle, don't we, than just turning up for work every day for your paycheck, So
exactly. And once you've been an entrepreneur, you don't really want to
no,
work for somebody ever again,
that's
right?
exactly right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Just got to find the right vehicle. I'm sorry that happened to you. Yeah, and I recognize that in the story. From my first experience. You don't know a lot, and so you kind of make up for that by trusting. And you trust too much, and you don't learn what to look for and what are the warning signs, or you ignore the warning signs and just hope it works out. Because I've done both. Ask me how I know, right? 'Cause-
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Your story was intriguing and somewhat similar.
yeah.
The Walmart thing is like, oh, I have to go to Walmart too.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend that. That was licking my wounds. It was a deep hurt. All my life savings, losing my business, because I had that great momentum. I don't know what I mentioned in the video. My goal was 500 doors, so I was trying to break into the large multifamily because I quickly recognized, and that's why I started with the multifamily, because I quickly realized, just like you said, single families aren't going to do it. It's way too much work. It will literally take decades to build enough portfolio to live off. And so, what do you live off in the meantime? And it's getting a busier and busier job the more properties you get. Because here's the first challenge that I met the first time round is managing the properties. So I got over 100 doors. Okay. I knew it was time to scale and get property management in, tried them, but the only ones that could attract at that scale, which is actually small. I know it sounds large to a lot of people, but it's small because they're separate units, is the crooks, and they steal money from you. So,
Mm.
you know, because it's a cash business. A lot of those were efficiencies and one bedrooms and had some twos. And so people pay the rent in cash, and so it's way too easy for them to steal, you know, without even noticing. So
Absolutely. And
yeah.
my friend mentioned that, he was always fortunately he had a lucrative insurance business
Mm,
to show income.
right,
But a lot of the other income, if they didn't want to show it, they didn't have to, or I mean, they're supposed to, but
right,
um, you would take cash and go buy a vehicle,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
And then the IRS is like, where'd that come from?
That's
So
right.
yeah,
That's why
you
they
have to
don't
be
want to
honest.
get rid of cash. There's going to be a digital dollar very shortly because they know there's so much cash business out there and they're not getting the tax dollars from it. So that's
That's
why
right.
digital dollar will come in, and that's got to be
Yeah.
scary. Yeah.
I hope that never comes about, because not only is that the thing, but as you know, it's like they did to the truckers in Canada. They could just turn the spigot off if they don't like what you're doing or saying, and it's just not good.
Mm, yeah.
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 So yeah, that's pretty much my
So let
journey.
me ask you this, Ed. That's a good story. Let me ask you this: where do you want to be in 5 years? So where do you want to be when you're 63? Yeah.
That's a good question. At 57, I think honestly, listening to your story is a great example of what to probably to do, especially in the environment in the United States right now with multifamily.
Mm,
With
yes.
the way rates have gone over the past 5 years, all these people are struggling and in pain and just having to let multifamilies go back,
Right.
uh, file for bankruptcy.
Mm,
So I'm a part of you're not a part of the CCC group, are you?
no. No.
Gator Elite sales calls with Jake
Yeah. Jake Pillar.
split off after Jake was kind of let go from
Yes. There's a lot
Faces
more to
thing.
that story that's not being told. So anyway.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Um, so we formed our own gig, and it's private, and they're trying to keep it very small. And
Yeah.
but there's some amazing people in that group that,
Mm,
like you, understand the ability to buy things without any money or a tiny amount of money.
mm.
So I have a few properties that I'm involved with as a PMP, and I enjoy that. But it's like onesie twosie here and there. So I'm
Pocket
looking for
change.
hotels and multifamilies.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And here's the thing with large multifamily. When I talk about complexes 100 units or more, it starts 100 units really. Anything less, you're really risking a lot really when especially management of the properties and tenants and stabilizing it and getting it functioning like it should. If you look at a lot of small multifamilies on the market, there's a lot of those for sale. They're very badly managed, you know, and because they're having this problem of scalability. Now, not all of them. Some of them are the industry, the small apartments, anything less than 100. Some have worked it out, and they do what they call syndicates between different operators. So if you do want to just do small apartments, the idea is to join up with other operators of small business. So then you can get the property management in, it becomes better scalable, and your maintenance and your expenses and costs is much, much better. So it can scale that way. So it's not impossible, you know. But so again, you have to do it properly with the small ones. But the big ones, it's the only niche in real estate where you can actually experience the time freedom. All the other niches in real estate involve a lot of your time. Because with the large multifamilies, you only need one or two of these deals a year, to substantially change your financial, what net worth. In fact, you can quickly reach your financial goals with large multifamily. Because we're starting anywhere on the EMD level, we're starting anywhere from 100,000 all the way up to 1 million and beyond, because we're going from complexes $10 million all the way up to 100 million and beyond. Vina Jetty does 200 units or more now, and she's closing on 400s and what have you. Amazing. You
Are
mentioned
you in her group?
no, she knows me and everything. She knows I'm in this space. But Pace's money doesn't come from most of his businesses. They keep the doors open, as it were, in all those companies and things. He makes his money from large multifamilies. Yes, he does singles and all the things and that, but predominantly, if he shared it with a video the other day, predominantly large multifamilies, like Grant Cardone as well. So the big players, the true wealth creation is through large multifamilies.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, and the good news is, I mean, I don't know whether you have $50 million in the bank, but most people don't, right? you
I
you
do
can't
not.
buy these outright like a single family for cash, right? So you have to
Right.
squad up. You have to um, find the people who've got money to deploy, and certainly with your background, you know that. I mean, they look at their bank account, some of these like neurosurgeons, for instance, and they see these large sums of money in the bank, and they're frustrated because they know it could be working better for them. That money could be deployed and put in real estate. Maybe they've tried and put it in the stock market, right? Okay, build up a portfolio there, and then it crashes, and they're really frustrated with that, right? So
Right.
they want something as safe as houses, so they think real estate, and really that's the long-term answer to deploy your wealth. So there's a lot of them out there right now who've realized that and want to deploy their money. And I think I read somewhere that we're the first time in American history where we have more money out there that's ready to be deployed than at any other point in history. I think I saw something like $23 trillion is out there waiting to be deployed into real estate. That's why you got like BlackRock and all these others chewing up as many houses. They do 1,000, trying to consume at a terrific rate, all the market. And I was very surprised to learn that home ownership in America is not what people perceive it to be. There's a lot of rental uh,
Yeah.
out there, and
But
that's
whether they want to or not at this point, though,
yeah,
all my kids are in at that age frame to buy houses when I was buying houses when I was
yeah,
that age. And it's out of reach for a lot of people. It doubled
it
and
is.
more than that.
It is out of reach, and that trend is continuing. And you mentioned about the timing for large multifamilies. It's extremely hot right now because we're just about 5 years out from COVID. So people that bought just before COVID, these apartments have a 5-year balloon, or some where the debt service is going to have to be managed at a much higher interest rate. It's destroying their capital.
Right.
So there's a lot of um, things coming onto the market, and a lot of distress out there. So the big ones are coming up. So there is lots of opportunity. And the good news
Yeah.
is you don't need a lot of knowledge and you don't need a lot of money. It's just playing on the team. And so with that in mind, I recently restarted my YouTube channel with that in mind to got an educational thread there on large multifamily. And I published the videos of who I interview on that too. So you'll be featured and people can get to know each other and what have you if you would like to be part of that. And then when I do find a deal, I will send out an invitation to a Zoom call where I will do the offering memorandum. And if you like the deal, you can deploy your money. You can be a limited partner, a completely passive role, or you can play a role on the GP side. You can be part of our team and grow from there. But you can wear multiple hats. You can do both. So there's plenty of opportunity. As I say, the E&D start at six figures. They start at 100,000. So there's plenty of gator opportunities and to squad up and wrestle with other gators, come in as a business entity, play an LP part. So not only do you get your fee at closing, you'll get quarterly distributions and a share in the profit equity. So you have the whole range of three ways of getting paid, creating long lasting wealth, Yeah.
Yep. Makes total sense.
Mm.
And how many do you have at this point?
Zero, a big fat zero. It's 2 months back when I found myself in a 3-day workshop, and the light bulb went off. It was made sense with all of that I've been through and experienced and things. Okay, I know a lot of the dangers now, and I've written 2 books. I've written Demystifying Commercial Real Estate Investing. They should be coming out very shortly. It's in pre-launch, and I've got one on investing in multifamily. So and I go through all the different stages on that, and I'm producing videos as well. So we can create that community education and help people achieve the financial goals in a relatively short period of time. Yeah.
Right. Right. And you're in Ryan's group, correct?
I am in Ryan's group. Yes, yes,
When
yes.
did you join that?
Uh, 2, 3 weeks ago, probably. Not very long
Okay.
ago. Yeah. So I'm still working out. I know last night I was on the call and he was talking about something new that you could be part of the educational program, and he joint ventures with you, so you don't have to worry about putting your own money into it. So I like that side of it because that's an important part. And Pace keeps saying it, but people do it anyway. They lend out their own money, and we should not do that. I mean, you should bang that drum a little bit louder because the idea is to put money in their pocket, not take it out. Because when we take money out of our pocket, you never know whether you're going to receive that again. And your testimony uh, speaks of that. And you're not the only one, Ed. I mean, it's very common, which is very sad. But Pace has told us not to use our own money. He tells us, squad up, find the money out there, you know. And that's scary as well. Sometimes more scary losing somebody else's money than your own. But I think it's very clever because you're probably more careful with that, right? So in a
Mm.
large multifamily space, we have the GPs which are looking after the investors so they don't lose their money. They give them preferential treatments and things. So it's a lot safer as well because of the oversight,
Mm.
the attorneys and everything else, because we're playing with big money.
Mm.
7 figures are seen as small, it's 8 and 9 figures we're playing with,
Right.
So that's it's a safer game, shall we say. So it
Yeah.
all makes sense to me, the lifestyle, the wealth creation, helping you reach other goals and everything else. It seems to be the path that most of us are looking for. We're just too scared, right? I mean, playing with this in this big league. But the
Mm.
nice thing is we're a team and we can stick together and leverage those who've gone before us, the experience.
That's so true.
Mm.
That's why, I joined this other group. I guess it just kind of segued into the other group for 3 or 4 months ago.
Mm.
And there's some big names and big timers in that group that know how to get these deals done. And evidently it's such as it is, they're kind of working their way into exactly what you're talking about. They're in search of large multifamilies,
Yes.
and there's active participants in it. And there's claims that we're all going to do it together. There's about 60 of us in there. It's not a whole lot different in size than Ryan's group.
Right.
There's no free group. This is just a family of people,
Mm.
but they're constantly, and I ran across a broker of hotels and large multifamilies, and I have those contacts, and I brought a couple of them, but I don't know what I'm looking at
Right.
because I have no experience.
Right.
And when I did bring it to them, they went nuts. They got very excited.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked you, it was like, how many do you have? Because if you have if you have an access to a bit of flow, and if you have interest, that is something that I could offer you, is to bring some of this information
Yeah.
to the group.
Yeah.
And I know they're actively wanting to acquire.
Yeah. There's certainly that role, but with bird dog, when you bird dog a large multifamily and we get it to close, the payday's way better than the normal bear. Bird dog. You
Yeah,
mentioned on the team, you're in acquisitions, and we'd quickly bring you up to speed, and you participate in the acquisition fee, which is at closing. So,
right,
for an example, if we bought a $20 million complex, which is not uncommon, the acquisition fee for that is $1 million. So who's
right,
on the acquisition team gets the share of that $1 million?
right. That
Okay.
makes sense.
So you're not a bird dog of $500,000, right?
Right.
Way bigger.
Yeah, it's way better.
Way bigger, yes. And you guys share in the equity and quarterly distributions because you're on the GP side. So
Right.
if you want to be part of the acquisition team, you play that role, and you you know get into the role. Yeah, you might not know anything right now, but you consume it. It's like anything, you can learn it, and
Yeah, and I think that's really the reason I stayed in that group. And really, for several weeks, I was like, why am I in this group? What's happening here? What's the benefit? And then I started, you go to the meetings, and we have meetings 3 days a week, 2 hours a day.
mm,
And then you start realizing the people that are in the room, like,
right,
okay, wow, he already has 500 doors.
that's
And
amazing.
this guy is incredible. And there's multiple, there's EMD people that are doing Ryan kind of way more than Ryan numbers.
Yeah,
And it's really impressive, the people that are in. There's several people like myself that have very little or no experience, but almost none.
right.
So anyway, to bring that information to them, I think that's finally realized, like, oh, there's a serious role here. Because it's like, for example, I brought a hotel to them and they said, oh, and they gave me 4 names right off the bat. Now,
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing at the time, and I didn't follow through with it, but I was like, wow, they really are connected,
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about squatting up, and that's what they do. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Ed, I can't believe the time. I got another call in 2 minutes. So literally
oh, I'm
11.
sorry.
But no, don't be sorry. It's been an amazing call we've had. I really appreciate this. Do book another call with me if you like. I'm gonna put my YouTube channel in the chat, so do check it out. Subscribe if you like, and book another call, as I say, with me if you would like to continue this discussion.
Yeah,
Certainly.
I would. I'd like to explore what you're suggesting, working together,
Yeah.
and potentially moving deals forward. I
Right,
think that'd be
right. I should have some exciting announcements too, as well, which is partnership with those who do have, the 500 and beyond $1 million in assets, who could be sponsors and guide us in this journey. So it's all a case of finding them out there, So
Whoops.
appreciate you. You've already found it. I can hear my voice. So
Sorry.
good job.
I,
We'll see you soon. All right. Thank you, Ed.
okay.